Welcome to iHeartGeek. And welcome to another episode of iHeartGeek.
Wow. Hello.
It's like looking in a black mirror of myself.
Okay, I was about to say, what episode are we doing right now? Because I almost went, pew, pew.
Yeah, you must be thinking of the future or something.
I don't know.
Or the past. I don't know how I'm going to put this up yet.
I got a thwip in my brain.
Thwip is not. Pew Pew is Star Wars. We are not doing a Star Wars episode at the moment.
Well, at some point we will. And
Yes,
that's
we
what I'm
will.
talking about.
So we are doing a episode on Black Mirror from Netflix. If you have not watched these, you might want to come back, but because we're going to try not to do spoilers, but no promises, because you kind of got to give spoilers.
There will be one where I will take off my headphones and
cry.
stick my fingers in my ears because I don't want to hear it.
Stick your head under the cushions.
Right. La, 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 la.
Well, let's do a quick introduction of the crew. I am Dub, and I write your show and stuff. And to my left,
I am Blythe.
And what do you do, sir?
Do a couple things. Some YouTube stuff, some film taking stuff. So, yeah.
Groovy. My buddy over to the other side of the table, sir. Are you doing away? Are you doing away?
Away what?
Are you feeling a particular emotion right now?
Far and away?
Far and away? Okay.
No.
So they're not going to drink today, are they?
No. Today is Sober Codge.
Wow.
Sober Codge.
Sober Put that bottle away.
Yes, put the bottle away.
So what do you do, Kaj, other than disappoint all the alcoholics in the crowd?
Oh, let's see. The list is long and distinguished. I sit here at this table and I use my sultry, silky voice to entertain the masses on the podcast. To which my buddy Shy actually just got onto the Facebook page and actually is listening to it. He's an avid podcaster, and he said he was going to check us out, and he gave us some thumbs up. So
nice.
Hey, Shy.
Well, now I feel all sorts of pressure.
Well, he's going to be listening. So hey,
Fix your hair. Fix your hair.
Welcome to the Black Mirror.
Oh, and to the right,
Yay, he's back. Woo!
it's been a minute.
I'm PB&Jason.
Who are you?
Where you been?
I was on vacation.
Yeah, this is the most shows you've ever missed since
It
we
is.
started
And
this
I'll
whole
be
thing.
honest with you, even though I had a great time on my vacation, I missed it. I always do. I missed it. I listen to the shows. I'm like, God, it'd be so much better if I were on.
And I'm glad that you've kept that humility about you.
Well, I noticed that while I was gone, there were people sitting in my seat. Blythe kind of sat.
Blythe sat in your chair?
You
I
did
did
tell
sit in
people
the
what
seat.
I do to my seat to mark it as mine, right?
No,
he did not
no, we don't talk
mention
about that.
Nope.
Oh.
But
Okay.
But Blige, you might want to burn your trousers.
Oh, no.
At least maybe put them in a really hot wash.
No, burn them. Today's iHeartGeek is brought to you by technology gone horribly, horribly wrong.
Or kind of wrong.
Or sometimes right.
Or
Almost never right.
But mostly horribly wrong.
Mostly horribly wrong.
Now,
sometimes a little bit wrong.
slightly. And then some, sometimes to the right. There's, actually, a good friend of mine I was working with today, I didn't get this analogy, and it kind of expanded my horizons. I didn't necessarily know what Black Mirror meant, and she's like, yeah, it's actually your computer screen when it's dark.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
I didn't know. I was like...
I never caught that. I'm stupid.
And I did the same thing because I paused for a second. I thought about it. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That is amazing. And then because there's digital sounds, and then all of a sudden it cracks. I'm like, and every episode has technology in it. So yeah, that's
Well, in
that's
excelsis Deo. I don't know. I thought I'd give you something clever. It's not. Okay, so let's move on, and we have a special game show.
Here's a generic game show for you.
All right, guys, let's get this Black Mirror game show underway. I got 10 questions for
Are
you.
we still friends after this?
We'll see. We'll see how you guys do. It seems like every time we do something, it's the worst game show ever. So
Every time you do one, it's
Not
the worst
me.
game
No,
show
It's
ever.
not
every time
me.
anyone does a game show,
Yeah.
he says, "Oh, this is my worst." He sets himself up to. He lowers his. Actually, it's pretty smart. He lowers his expectations.
So then,
and then when he does win, which I even heard him win one of the ones recently that I wasn't on, he's all like, "Oh my God, I can't believe! I thought I was going to do so bad," and then he wins.
Because, well, it was a Harley Quinn one. There's no way I was going to lose that one.
That's probably true. Yeah.
All right, guys.
After all, she's boosted your career so much since the beginning.
Stop with it. Oh, stop.
Should never won.
Okay, go.
All right. Question 1. Kaj, we'll start with you. And we'll go around the table.
Mistake.
What was the name of the American Idol, America's Got Talent type show in the episode 15 Million Merits?
I'm just going to go for broke and say Star Search.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
Sorry, sir.
Hot Shots.
It is Hot Shot.
So it's not, let's put you in porn.
Nope, not that. Yeah, correct answer is Hot Shot. So that is 1 point for Jason. All right, and the next question.
You're welcome.
Again, sorry, Kaj. How many merits did it take to appear on the show Hot Shot?
I'll just throw out a guess here and say 15 million.
What? Oh, man, this guy.
I'm smart.
Let me go so far as to say that originally it was 12 million, but the price went up to 15 million.
Ooh, Jason is correct.
What he said.
15.
15 million. All
15
right.
merits? That's not right.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right.
I don't need any help losing, trust me. This is a race to the bottom at this point.
Who was the big celebrity and relationship guru who is seen telling his tales in a snow-covered cabin in the episode White Christmas?
I haven't seen that episode, but this is who I want it to be. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Unfortunately, it is not.
And I'm
Benedict
not going to watch that
Cumberbatch.
show.
No, it was John Hamm.
It was John Hamm.
Oh, very nice. Okay,
I
maybe
didn't know, so I guess Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Because he should be in
Unfortunately,
everything.
no.
He should play everything.
Maybe I will because John Hamm's dreamy.
All right, now next question. What is the name of the game played by Danny and Carl in the episode Striking Vipers?
I don't know. Maybe Striking Vipers? Do you want the Striking Vipers 10 or X?
There it is.
There you go,
There
okay.
it is. For you folks at home, I gave him a look.
I just wrote Striking Vipers, so
Striking
I don't
Vipers.
think I get the
We'll give it to
nod
you
on
guys.
that. Oh, you would?
What?
Oh, I get it?
No,
He
no, no.
wouldn't. He would not do
Give
that
him the
for
look,
you.
though. At least give him the look. There you go.
That is a pretty... I could see why you shook and quivered
That's
at
why I
that
put,
look.
that's why I
'cause
put the X in there.
It was a look, man.
Well, because the military is involved, I assumed it was a circle game.
oh, shit.
And if you were in the military, you know
Dub
what
gets-
game I'm talking about, because I guarantee they played that game.
I'm sure they did.
Dub gets -5 points for that answer.
Oh, wow. You are the worst game host ever.
I disagree. So far, I think you're the raddest game show host ever.
All right. In the episode Nosedive, what star rating does Lacey need to reach in order to get a discount on the apartment she
If I'm not
wants?
mistaken, it was 4.5.
You are absolutely
Okay.
correct, sir.
Dang it.
4.5.
4.5.
I had 4.5, but then I thought, no, it's got to be like an odd number, so I said 4.2. I'm
Oh, no.
5 actually is an odd number.
No, well, remember, she had 4.3. So
4.2.
Yeah.
Well, she had 4.2?
Yeah. She went up and down a lot in that.
Yeah, she started
Yeah.
at 4.2. I only know this because I watched this episode today. Okay, so I know.
That's so nice.
All right. Next question. What is the name of the standalone Choose Your... Yeah, sorry. What is the name of the standalone Choose Your Own Adventure story created by Black Mirror?
The Bandersnatch.
It is the Bandersnatch. Good job, Koch.
It sounds dirty, but yeah, Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch.
It was the Kennerdick Bandersnatch.
Kennerdick Bandersnatch.
Benedict
You like that? You
Bandersnatch.
like that? Yeah. I'm almost proud of that. I shouldn't be, but I'm almost.
In the episode San Junipero, what era did Yorkie finally find Kelly?
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the 90s?
It's not the 90s.
What?
No.
It was 2002.
It was the 2000s.
Up at the 2010, that seemed like the music. but
I'll
I-
give you that because it was the 2000s.
Okay.
That was the era.
That's true.
All right. The princess is promised to be returned when Prime Minister Callow commits an intimate act with what type of animal?
Pig.
It is a pig.
Are you serious?
That is 100% correct. Kaj took a shot in the dark in that one.
Literally a shot in the dark.
Ooh, I almost said sheep. Never mind.
It was a pig.
I also wrote pig.
I said Charlotte's best friend.
Oh, no. It was a grown-up pig. That's sad.
That'll do, pig.
Was it Babe in the City?
Oh, no.
Oh. See what happens when you go to the big city, kids? Sorry.
In the episode, The Entire History of You, the actress who portrays Fee goes on to take the mantle of a major sci-fi character. What is that character?
I am going to call Dub out on this because we just talked about it 10 minutes ago. Fee is Jodie Whittaker.
Oh!
Come on, man.
And the lovable sci-fi character is Doctor Who.
That is correct.
She doesn't count as my Doctor Who.
Oh, no.
Oh, you take
This guy.
You shut your dirty mouth.
The Doctor.
The Doctor, yep.
I couldn't.
Did you put anything?
I didn't see the episode.
Oh, man.
And I was like,
We just talked about it. I'm gonna keep it. Just talked.
All right. And the last question in the episode White Bear, what was Victoria Scillane being punished for?
Do we both want to take this since we're so
No, you
detailed?
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
All right. She was the accomplice. She videotaped the crime happening of the little girl getting killed by her boyfriend.
Yes. Correct?
Right. I wrote filming her boyfriend murdering the child.
Perfect.
I was kind of right. I said being a very bad girl.
You know what?
I'm so far behind. You can give
since
that
there's
to
no
me.
chance, I'm going to give you that point.
You could give me triple points for that. I'm still not going to
so
win it.
I kind of know what you do realize that there is a historic first time thing that happened on this game show.
I'm last?
That has never happened before.
I'm last.
Never happened before.
That happens all the
go
time.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Say the
so
points.
our winners are
Start with the
order
losers.
is- We'll start with
thanks.
the losers. We'll start with
Thanks.
last place, and that would be Dub with 5 points.
Hey, I had more than I probably needed.
Second place would be Kaj with
Yeah.
7 points.
What?
And first place is Jason with
how many
a
points and how
mighty
many
10
questions?
points in 10
Mighty 10.
questions.
10 points and
Perfect.
10
That's happened.
questions. No,
That's
there's
happened.
never been
That's
a perfect
100.
game
That's
show
an
score.
A plus 100% grade.
Never been a perfect game show score.
I'm going to have to go back and listen.
You will have to. Okay, if you prove me wrong,
All
then
right.
I'll
You have to go through the entire catalog.
I will
of
act-
Do you know how many
Cool
hours
shows.
that is?
I will relent to that's true, but perfect game show score by
All right,
PB&Jason.
Perfect game show
all right,
score.
So in the episode White Bear, there were sponges that you could throw at the glass thing that had the red Kool-Aid on it or whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
How much were they a piece?
How much were they? How much
How
did they
much?
cost?
How much was the sponge?
Oh, there was a sign saying how much they were, huh?
If you get this right, you win every game show ever for the rest of time.
1 pound crown. No.
No, see, that's. No, I'm kidding. He's
much
already
were
won.
they?
They were $2.
Oh, were they?
$2 pounds. 2 pounds.
Okay.
A sponge.
Nice.
Wow.
I was only
Were you looking
50
at that
cents
just
off.
because you're like, I know there's going to be a question on something
Oh
like
my!
this.
Like we will talk about White Bear in the top 5. Oh my goodness! Like to me the best episode of the series.
All right, Kaj, number 1 has been just
Okay. Let's just jump over and let's talk. There's a lot of similarities between Black Mirror and Twilight Zone. What makes it different?
I think it's realism. Twilight Zone has a lot to do with kind of the supernatural and the obscure. I mean, you have characters.
Sometimes.
Yeah, definitely sometimes it goes back and forth. But I think this is very much set in modern day, not too distant. I mean, some of it's really distant future, but some of it's not too distant to where we are now, which I think that would be the biggest difference for me.
So, okay, so a couple things about the show. For me, so this is not the kind of show that actually I tend to gravitate towards because I like shows that are a little more fun. I can handle dark and I can handle violent stuff like that, but I kind of have a problem with like really bleak, really kind of hopeless shows. And they're not that every episode of this is like that, but there is a lot of like, oh gosh, that's melancholy, sad, tragic type endings to a lot of these episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot of like halfway decent people getting broken down into, you know, their rawest, most despairing form. And since I was binge watching this to kind of catch up for the show, I was like, the dark cloud over my head. My wife's like, "What's the matter with you?" And I'm like, "I'm binging Black Mirror for the show." Well, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. You know, and it was, so that kind of thing really works on me.
Well, so something that actually leads me to an interesting thought. Twilight Zone had the bad guys got punished, and the good guys usually came off better because of
most of the time.
This doesn't necessarily discriminate between good and evil.
Correct.
No, it doesn't. People are just people.
And a lot of the times, like this show will start you off with a character that you think, oh, you kind of maybe want to root for them, like the character in USS Callister, Scalane and White Bear. You know exactly
right.
Characters that you want to be behind, and then at the end it's like, oh,
the kid in the heist one.
Okay, right, exactly. Shut Up and Dance.
Yeah, my gosh, that one.
So what I was noticing at first in the earlier episodes, like especially like the national anthem, the first episode, I was kind of waiting for the typical Twilight Zone gotcha, which showed up later. Actually, White Bear was the first one where it really happened, but I was kind of waiting for the gotcha, and when it didn't come, I was like, oh.
I thought there was kind of the gotcha that he went through all that, and then 10 minutes before, they could have stopped it.
Yeah.
Because she was okay.
Yeah, but
she was released before he even started.
Half an hour before. But that wasn't the same kind of gotcha as like...
It felt like a gotcha to me.
It's like the veil lifting on the whole big kind of thing. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But the writing of this show is absolutely off the chain. I mean, it's one of the absolute most best written, most fascinatingly written shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, and and just for Black Mirror, like everything is technology based. There's always some sort of like Blaise was saying, it's maybe a year or maybe like 5 years into the future. It's not really. There's a couple of them that are way farther in, but most of the things that are in this show are either like an advanced version of what we already have now, or like an upgrade to what we already have now. And if you notice, there's a lot of, I don't want to say Easter eggs, but there's a lot of recurring themes.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot.
Like the lens, the contact lenses, the holographic stuff.
Yeah, things in the head,
the mushrooms,
the eyes, and
the mushrooms.
Well,
cookies, and
they some way
different even. I don't want to say different characters, but like different. If you watch it, you can see they put little Easter eggs of different shows and episodes in different. And they make some different episodes. Yeah,
there's definitely a feeling that it all exists within the same universe, whether it's a couple years apart or not.
Well, there are a lot of recurring names.
Yeah,
like the
Company
billionaire
names.
from the the Smithereens episode. You hear his name several times, like and on TV reports and all that. So it's definitely all in the same universe.
In the USS Callister, one of the places they go to get that shuttle is on the planet Scalane. You know. So
the office that was in was also the office in Bandersnatch.
Yep. The
exact same office.
The gaming company that makes, I forget the one, the horror game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the gaming company that makes Striking Vipers.
Tucker, right?
Yeah.
TCKR or something like that. Yeah.
It's the same gaming company that makes the games, and I'm sure there's a reference to it in Bandersnatch as well.
Right, somewhere, right.
But one thing that you got to give this show a lot of credit for, because there's been Twilight Zone and then, of course, the copies of Twilight Zone. This show really took that Twilight Zone idea and made it completely original. You got to give them a lot of credit for being able to do that.
However, I want to ask this. When we did Twilight Zone, we talked about how every episode is timeless. You can still watch it today. Are we going to be able to watch Black Mirror in 10 years?
I think so.
Or will it be cheeseball? Because, there are definitely watermarks to this is the place and time. This is the time.
To be honest, it kind of depends on where society's going to go.
You hope opposite, but it's probably not.
I still think that you might be able to even reminisce about even with Archangel, just it's about just a parent like wanting to make sure that their kid is safe, or like with Striking Vipers is that's just the intimacy that two people, or the friendship that somebody might have, but it's kind of gone around. Like I feel there's cautionary tales, and there's there's always going to be something that's going to be intriguing about these episodes that should stand the test of time.
It's funny, today I watched Nosedive today for again.
Oh yeah,
and I found myself like pushing my phone away because I was like, oh my gosh, that's something that feels like where we are going, you know.
Oh, I turned off my phone after I watched that episode.
I legit just want to get to the top 5 right now because then we could just start talking. I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I'm giving people's like numbers away, and I'm like, I need to stop.
But so something else I want to kind of hit on this is the political aspect. Now, we talked about if they remade Twilight Zone, we didn't want to see it because it would be the writers would not be able to resist being political. Now, I think there is definitely a political twist to this, but I don't think it is the in-your-face that we would expect to see from something like this. It doesn't go too far. It doesn't... I mean, no matter what your political bent, you can take it as kind of a your side without it being a your side thing.
I think that's probably because it's way more about technology. I mean, that's the thing. That's really... Maybe that too. But it's like... This is so much more about, like... the cautionary tales of technology and even the unseen potential of technology that where you're going to get a little bit of a political bent. I mean, especially in like the first episode, for sure. And a couple other ones like the Waldo moment and stuff like that.
Well, I think that was political without being political.
It wasn't in your face.
It wasn't like what we always talk about. What we like watching these things, but then we just hate it because it's like, why? You know, I don't really want to be preached at. This preaches at you in a different way.
Actually, it does. I don't think it feels preachy. No. Do you guys?
I think it's preachy about technology, like you're saying. It's like a cautionary tale about where technology can take you. But I think the reason the politics don't stand out as much is because this is a show about technology. Technology affects all things, and that's what this show shows. It shows technology affecting a husband and wife, a murderer or someone who's been convicted of murder, the parent that wants to overprotect their child, the politician who's up for re-election. Like it hits all of these points, and it's not preachy because it's just showing you how technology can affect all of these different things and aspects of our day-to-day life.
And it could be anybody. They could have put any actor in those certain situations, and it would still be the same.
Exactly.
I actually just had an idea in my head. This is like the digital version of Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
100%.
Yeah, that's a good
analogy.
Pretty good,
actually.
Very profound.
But I will say this:
it's coming at you.
All right, future filmmakers,
my forehead.
Future filmmakers, writers. This is how everybody loves this show for that reason. You don't have a divided nation on this show. I mean, there's people that don't like it because it's not their cup of tea, but not because they feel like violated by it. If that makes sense. Oh, and I really appreciate that about this show.
I'm gonna actually.
It could have so far gone either way, really bad.
I'm gonna actually go so far and say, although again, it's not really generally the show I seek out. It's probably the most cleverly written show I've ever seen of any TV show ever in the history of TV that I've seen.
Nice.
Yeah, it's that the writing is that good. When not in every episode, but but it sure works sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so for at the moment, I think people have heard enough from us, and let's get on to some of our listener feedback.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, for our listener feedback today, I kind of asked, what did we ask on this? What is your impression of Black Mirror? Which I thought, I wanted to make this kind of open-ended because I didn't want to ask people what their favorite episode was because we're doing that. And we got some interesting answers. In fact, I got to say, this is the first time we've ever gotten anybody to respond on Instagram yet. And so, let's see.
That's pretty awesome.
Satomi Hoffman.
Yes. Hey, what's up, Satomi?
So
she's a big celebrity, isn't she?
She is.
Yes,
she's like one of our more famous listeners.
She's like the Phantom Lady of this podcast.
If she ever wants to come on, she knows how to get.
So we got her.
She will definitely call me like, "Don't do that again."
Right, we got her. We got Cal Dodd. We got Mark Millar, and we got Carrie Schultens.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey,
we're famous people.
Rock stars.
Exactly.
And a couple more that they don't like to be talked about. So we don't. Okay, so her response was she loves it. Maybe not every episode hits it out of the park, but they definitely have a great average, especially the Trek nod.
Yeah.
Okay, from the Facebook, Jason Parkins. Great series showing the horrors of what may or what's already happening with technology. MMA Jesse, the video game episode in season 3. Hell gross. I think that's how I read that.
Talking about playtest, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and we will get into that, I promise.
Yeah.
Catherine Winston, amazing. I absolutely loved it. Crystal Midget. I love saying her name. I really do. She's every time she puts in, I'm going to say it just so I can say midget on air. It's like watching a train wreck. You know you're going to regret looking, but you can't turn away. It's compelling and horrifying to see what depths we could sink to for the sake of a convenient connection to the world.
It's like watching a high-speed AI-controlled train wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already give up our privacy for convenience. It's appalling to see how far down the rabbit hole we can go. The episode Nosedive was just the worst example that parallels the world as it is right now. Mm-hmm. But I love it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Todd the Voice, a smart, extremely well-written kind of show, kind of always makes me think of a modern-day, less censored interpretation of the Twilight Zone. This is why we're friends with The Voice. Christina
And
Belden.
we just love him because
Yes.
he's amazing.
Yeah. Well, duh. We've been
Yeah.
friends forever, so yeah. Christina Belden says it's a guilty pleasure. My favorite episode is Nosedive. I think it's brilliant in its satirical description of our world today. Our listeners sound so smart. It cracks me up, and I seriously can't get enough. Jen, the wife, said it's a random group of crazy adventures. And then
That's the most awesome answer that I've ever heard on this.
It's actually very, yeah. That pretty much boils everything down.
Oh, I'm only saying because she could kick me out of the house if I.
Yeah,
don't.
she absolutely
So,
can.
yeah.
And from Twitter, at the Green Korean, from at Faces and Aces. It's a dark and mostly brilliant show with social commentary. They whiff on an episode from time to time, but I appreciate the exploration of the potential dark outcomes of integrating technology and into our culture. So again, guys, thanks for the feedback. You guys are awesome. You make the show so much better. And there's some things I want to say to this, but I do want to say something about what the Green Korean said. He was talking about how they whiff on an episode occasionally from time to time. And I'm not going to agree with that. I think that every episode's solid. However, I think there's some endings that they whiff on from time to time. I think the shows themselves are usually pretty fantastic.
The hard thing for that show especially is when you come out of the gate in those first 3 seasons, especially with writing that's that good.
It's hard.
I mean, to keep that
To keep
going.
it up, yeah.
That's.
Well, then you bring in people like Miley Cyrus, and she impresses you, and you're like, okay, well, I guess anything can happen on this strange universe.
Well, it's one of those things where we talk about all the time where it's not necessarily the actor's fault for different portrayals of things, but it's the writing and the direction. And that's what this show has that's solid. They have a great writing room. They've got great directors, and they can push out. It doesn't matter who they have. And that's another cool thing about the show is some of the people you don't know, some of them you do. John Hamm, Dallas Bryce Howard, like, all big actors.
The chick from
Haley
Downton
Atwell.
Abbey.
Mantis.
Mantis.
Topher
Like it's
Grace.
just
Falcon.
you get all these actors that are big names, but you could put anyone in that part, and the show would
And they'd
be
do
just
fantastic.
as good. It doesn't matter how big. They're not putting these actors in the show to get people to watch it. They're just putting these actors in the show because they know they're good actors.
Right, and another thing about that, what I think is great, especially when you've seen people in different roles, it's really great to see them actually really get to exercise those acting chops.
Yep.
Like watching Dallas Bryce Howard, who, you've seen in a bunch of things, in Nosedive, is like, oh my gosh. You get to see like the full range of these people, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about that. If Bryce Dallas Howard, if you're actually listening to this podcast, please say you are, because that'd be awesome. Don't ever laugh like that ever again.
But it's so appropriate.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like,
Did I say
that's
Dallas
cute.
Bryce?
Don't
I
do
meant
that
Bryce
again.
Dallas.
Yeah, I probably said it wrong too.
Huh?
I meant Bryce Dallas. Did I say Dallas Bryce? I don't know. Bryce Dallas.
As long as you get the Howard, because then her father Ron would be upset if you did.
Yeah, and then I'd get Opie'd right out of here.
Yeah. Oh, don't do that. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Stop. For the love of God. Thank you.
This is why we have compression on the post end.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, for this version of the main event, we are doing our top 5 Black Mirror episodes. Now, there is a little bit of crossover on these.
Well, there's only 23 Black Mirror episodes.
And there's 4 people at the table, so that would mean there's 3 episodes that we wouldn't have said if there was no crossover. And then we're just reaching for straws, let's be honest.
That was good math. I don't know. It sounded good to me.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. How about the Mets? So for number 5, we have 3 of us that took the same one, because we kind of agreed on that for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And that would be myself and Kaj and PB and Jason. We all took the same one. And I will give this one to, so I don't have to say it, because I don't know why I'm trying to save words right now and I'm just throwing a bunch of words out. But Kaj, what is our number 5?
You could have already said it with all the
I absolutely could.
Well, we're all Star Trek fans, so absolutely our number 5 is USS Callister.
Yes. Such a great twist.
Oh God. What was it? I remember I can't remember the lead guy. He was in Breaking Bad. He was the crazy kid in Breaking Bad.
Who he was.
But it was like I can't remember who I thought it was. Like
I thought it was Matt Damon.
That's what it was. If Matt Damon and Philip Seymour Hoffman had a baby,
yes,
it would be right.
Thank you. I wasn't the only one.
Yeah. I mean, great actor. Oh my God! Now I'm going to feel bad. I need to find out what his
So
name
while
is.
you're doing that, I'm going to ask, since you put out a game show, I'm going to ask you a game show question.
Oh no.
About that episode, USS Callister.
Okay.
At the very end of the show, whose voice was that from the other ship that said I wanted to trade, and then when they said they had another trade, I'm going to blow you up if you don't get out of here?
I wouldn't be able to tell
No,
you.
you don't know? Anybody?
No.
That was Aaron Paul.
Oh,
really?
Yes.
That gives you that kind of Breaking Bad crossover
connection.
there.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Huh. So, let's break this episode down just for a second, because this is a fascinating episode. Because at first you feel so sorry for this guy.
Well, okay, so
There's spoilers. Yeah.
At first, you see him on the bridge, okay?
Yeah.
So you see him acting like Captain Kirk. You see the
and
crew.
you assume it's just a fantasy.
Right, you see that. Well, if you've watched the show enough, you probably realize they're in some kind of matrix, since they go in the matrix like 1,000 times in the show. But you see him do a Star Trek scenario, and then you see him in his real life.
Yeah, which is just, I'm like, and he does not deserve the disrespect he gets, by the way.
Not at the beginning.
Not at all.
When you see how it's going.
It depends on your thoughts on if a computer can be sentient or not.
Well, or does somebody have a personality on the outside, but then on the inside, was he that way to begin with, as far as his demeanor goes? Like,
you don't see how not right he is until I think his second time he goes into the game.
And then you see how much of a control freak he is, and how much he's just kind of. It's his way or the highway.
Completely sadistic.
And that's a thing with gaming now, especially when you get into the types of games that are very like intuitive, like MMOs and things like that. Mm-hmm. People act a certain way in a game that they wouldn't on the outside, because they're getting out those emotions and those things that are inside of them
and necessary.
But they know that they can get away with it within a game or within some kind of
and that
simulation.
That episode was a bit of a nod to Gamergate type things, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he devolves into a absolute monster, and I guess the crew, we should probably mention, are he stole DNA from members in his life, like people that worked in his office and such, because he's this little wallflower next to his friend who started the business with him. That's much more like the
braggadocious,
right?
Alpha
and he
male.
creates these digital clones of these people in the game, and then he treats them terribly. And the digital clones think that they are the people because they're perfect.
To an extent, yeah.
No, completely.
Yeah.
They completely think that until they're told, but they completely believe themselves to be the people on the outside.
So are they? Do you believe that they're life? Or should he be able to do...
Well, he created them out of DNA, so I'm going to have to say that they are digital copies, clones. Yeah.
It depends on what you think makes a person a person. Is it their mind, their personality?
But that really is the question you have to ask yourself when you watch the show. Because, like, you part of you will feel very sorry for these people, and then part of you like, these guys it's code. This is like when you play Contra and shoot the bad guy in the first. You get shot 17 times.
They did it twice. They did it with the digital clones. They did it with the cookies. It was the same thing. Like they took a piece of organic whatever, and then they integrated it into the computer, and that brings up that whole question. Like, well, are these really living things with emotions? You know, it's crazy.
That's a deep dive, man.
And I mean, that's psychology of Black Mirror. Now, this would have been a lot higher on the list for me, but there was a couple of things that, like I said, sometimes they just whiff. Their attempts at humor on this were disturbing, to say the least. When they realize, when the main female realizes she has no genitalia, well, they can hold me prisoner, but taking my beep is way too much. I'm like, really? That's,
Well, at least they attempted comedy.
It wasn't. At least when Twilight Zone attempted comedy, it hit.
True. I mean, at least I kind of like chuckled on that episode instead of, wallowing down beneath my table with my head in my hand in great despair after the episode I just watched.
Well, yeah, but that to me was the biggest whiff in that. Is there anything you guys didn't like about that episode?
The dialogue was a little cheesy, but then again,
it was
made that they were trying to do Star Trek.
Exactly.
So yeah. No, I liked all the Star Trek nods.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem really with that issue. That, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Overall, I think that it was an episode that was like, it didn't hit like maybe the super writing highs that some of the other episodes have done.
I thought it gave great nods. It was more of a nostalgia kick than anything. Now, this is one of those great Easter eggs. You see the machine that the lollipop came from, that he had his kid.
Right.
Now, if you watch the Black Museum episode,
right.
That's one of the pieces.
That's one of the artifacts. Yes, it is.
So, yeah, that's just one of those little. And there's a lot of those in that. But the more you watch the show, the more you're rewarded with these, because you don't have to know them. That's good writing to me. You don't have to get these Easter eggs, but it just enhances your experience when you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're neglecting our Bly's over here, who has a different number 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Before we continue, the name of the actor who played Robert Daly, or the captain, was Jesse Plemons.
Okay.
Jesse Plemons, you're awesome.
He was.
I hope you're nothing like that in real life.
No, I hope you're nothing like that.
Either of those characters.
No, you are not getting my DNA.
He even did his delivery on the bridge.
Right.
Just like Kirk.
Just like Kirk.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I love that he really kept the code of what would have been Captain Kirk.
Right.
Oh, no one does anything. That's against Starfleet code. I'm like, because it is.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's been in all sorts of, from comedies to dramas. He has just a wide range of stuff that he can do.
So what is your number 5, sir?
My number 5 is Hang the DJ.
So good.
Yeah, that's a solid one. It's, I know we're not, everyone's here's seen it, right?
Yes.
So we're good for spoilers. So the end of that one is fantastic because it really shows you at more of like a more comprehensible way how a computer works. They ran this through millions and millions and millions of different types of scenarios.
I thought it was 100.
No, it was. They
like
should when it
thousands.
spreads out. It was like it, and I think when it spreads out, it shows you all these little different blips of what could have happened. But that's what a computer program does in that type of scenario. Is it goes through every single different way that something could happen with every kind of scenario until it gets that 98% match.
So
like this is the best type scenario.
Next time you want to swipe right, watch that first because you are torturing people. You are torturing these little images.
Yep. Every single one of those bits of code is a different scenario in which some are good and some are not so good.
Right.
And 99% of them was that's a pretty good number when you realize what they had to do.
Yep.
It's just an interesting concept.
Totally.
I mean, it took me a long time. I'm like, I didn't know what was going on till the end. And that was what I liked about it.
That was a very Twilight Zone.
Yes, that was very
kind of
Twilight.
That felt more Twilight
one,
Zone than anything. And I thought that was...
And one of like just a couple of the ones that have a nice, hopeful ending.
It really did.
That didn't like, break me down into my rawest form.
Yeah, because that one's cool too because, like you're saying, it didn't make you feel super bad because you get to that point at a point in the show and you're like, oh man, these people should be together, but they're not because of the way that this world works or whatever. But then you get to the end and you're like, oh, they did make it together because they were meant to.
So all that rooting wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so my number 4 we're on was the episode called Archangel.
Yes.
That was yours as well?
That's mine as well.
That was mine. I
Okay.
switched to 4.
Oh, wow.
All sorts of them.
It's the other side of it.
So, yeah.
Okay, you guys go ahead and talk
let's
about
hit this for
Archangel.
a while.
I'll just be quiet.
Great concept of overprotection of our kids, which is a huge problem in society today, in my opinion, and how much worse things go when you do overprotect.
And I just even add this, that the director of this was Jodie Foster as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Because she was, I saw her in an interview, and she said that she was doing an episode of Black Mirror. Yeah, such a great episode, so good.
Yeah, she's also the doctor, right?
Oh.
Are you referring to that?
Yes, I tried to do that earlier, and you didn't
Right.
bite, so I did try again.
Join our Facebook group if you're not there. You'll know what we're talking about on this.
No, it's nothing really.
It's funny. So, what are your thoughts?
So
on
for
this?
me, it's different because I don't have kids yet. So to me, this is a perfect example of the direction that technology is headed and a definite place that we could possibly see. Like, you have so many things now where you can monitor where your kid's at. You can monitor what they're watching. You can put time limits on what they're watching, things like that. And this is just, I think, a natural progression of that to where you get to the point where there's something in your kid's head, and I forget the episode, but where they can rewind and fast forward.
Right.
Entire history
Everything
review.
about you.
Yeah. That one too had a small scene that I don't think a lot of people catch, but their baby has it in their head. When they come home and they send the babysitter to like sleep in the guest room or whatever, they watch the replay of what their kids saw that night to make sure that the babysitter was actually going in there and doing stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that it's a prime example of where technology could definitely take us.
Yeah.
And just how, because even the mother turned it off. Remember, and just with she even put the parameters that, like, if something like horrible showed up, like if it was a dog, like a rabid dog or whatever, it would blur it out. It would kind of do the thing.
So instead of learning to deal with it,
right. Well, then even with if I remember right, like once because she killed her mom, right?
yeah, no, she just beat the crap
She
out
just
of her.
beat the crap. But then when she's doing it, she's seeing it through the lens and and her mother's blurred, right?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
can't even see it, right?
Yeah, it's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 4, which was different than yours, was mine was White Christmas. So that was the first time that they did what they later did in Black Museum, where they took
A
3
couple of
stories
Yeah.
and integrated them into one episode.
Yeah.
John Hamm, and I don't remember the other actor. I'm sorry to say that,
Forget his
but
name, too.
but we're trapped together in this they first it was like a job in this very isolated snowy place on Christmas Day, and it kind of their story unfolds about why they're there. They try to talk to they haven't talked to each other in, I'm doing the quote sign, 5 years, and it's again, that's a very Twilight Zone-y episode as far as how it ends up, but it's kind of neat the way that they integrated those 3 stories, and that introduced the idea of the cookies,
Yep.
which were, again, a piece of organic material placed into a computer, and then these cookies are a little copy of yourself, and they have all the emotions, and they think that they're them, and and all the fears of, oh my gosh, I'm trapped in this situation, and all those good moral questions that this show makes you ask a lot.
Nice.
The nice one about that episode is that one didn't necessarily end quite in as much despair, because these really were 2 guys. One of them was a pretty despicable guy, and one of them not despicable but did a pretty despicable thing. So punishment part at the end was kind of satisfying, actually. Yeah. Especially for John Hamm. That was like, yeah, buddy, you definitely deserve what you got.
Nice. Okay, my number 3 is Smithereens. This one I promised I wasn't going to do.
I'm going to take off my headphones and I'm going to stick my fingers in my hair.
Yeah, I'm not going to do much spoilers or anything else. And I'm going to do this quick because I can't concentrate. Gosh. Fantastic episode.
I need to film this for YouTube. Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay, what I'm enjoying about this episode is it's not futuristic at all. This is today. Mm-hmm. It's an Uber. It's the fact that the Google has more information than the cops do. They have more information than the government has.
Yep.
It's absolutely a it's who has the power, and this is definitely who has the power in it.
Yeah.
Topher Grace does the wow, this is killing me. Topher Grace does the guest star spot in it.
Yeah.
Dude looks incredible, by the way. I didn't even recognize it was him. I'm like, he looks so familiar. I had to look it up. I'm like, oh my gosh. Wow. So
yeah, he's definitely someone who is a hit or miss, and he definitely
hit on that
one. Yeah, and it's like you said, it's a great representation of where we're at now, because that's how it is. Google, Facebook, all these social media sites have more information on us than the police do.
Yeah.
Than the FBI does. They've got our most deepest and inner thoughts and conversations that we have with friends, family, whoever that they have on servers.
Now, I do have to ask you guys this. Did you watch this episode, Jason?
No, but I don't need to do the la that he's
Well, then
doing.
I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that they should have stopped at the first shot? Should they have ended it right there?
I think you could have went either way.
I wish they would have left it at that, and then they could have... I like it being more open-ended on that.
Yeah.
The second one, I think, was overkill.
Yeah.
The first one, they missed. And then it, boom, goes black, then opens up on Topher's eyes, goes back to meditation. Boom. Oh, my gosh, that would be fantastic.
I think it's one of those things that you expect it from Black Mirror to kind of leave it open-ended, but they took it a little bit further and they didn't. But I liked the way that it ended up, but I 100% get what you're saying.
Okay.
Make sure you turn into the YouTube to watch Kaj doing his la la impression.
His la la dance.
Yes.
You're good.
You're good.
You're good. You can
That's
come back.
all done.
Come back to join us.
Yep.
Come back and join us, Ninja Kashi.
Back, buddy.
Come and join us, Kashi.
I went through Legend of Zelda, Legend of Zelda 2, and A Link to the Past. They actually work. All right.
Okay, so what happened at the end of that episode? I'm kidding. Oh.
Thanos gets the gauntlet and snaps everyone out of existence.
Okay, Blythe, what is your number?
My number 3 is Be Right Back. That's the one with Haley Atwell and
Dominic Monaghan.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Oh, Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah,
Domhnall
Gleeson. I think that is I've said it a lot on this. I think it's another representation about how technology could go somewhat in a good way. This one took it a little bit far and kind of shows you where that line might be of someone becoming obsessive and somebody. It could definitely be a way of closure for a lot of people to have that kind of last conversation with someone who has passed.
But it went a little far.
But it definitely went far.
But that's when we go back to, wow, he is kind of a life now.
Yeah.
But it's not
exactly.
And that's not the person she fell in love with.
Yeah. What is a life? Like, who is it? Because she couldn't. And
that's the recurring theme through the show.
Yeah, she couldn't kill him. She tried to. She tried to get him to jump, but as soon as he started putting on emotion, like he didn't want to die, she couldn't do it.
Right. But she asked him to do that too, or she suggested that he would do that.
Yeah.
So then he did. And then, that one for me. Okay, so that was like the 3rd episode, wasn't it, in the first season?
So, yeah.
Or the first episode of the second season?
Yeah, it's pretty early on in there.
That's what first episode, second season. I remember that one was like, and it's like, this is about the point where I was like, when is this show going to have at least something that resembles a happy ending? Because that's not really a happy ending.
No, it wasn't.
It was
compromised ending.
It was a satisfied ending, honestly. Yeah. It wasn't happy. It wasn't sad. It was kind of like, okay,
but she keeps him in the attic and only sees him on weekends.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, now the kid kind of has a dad.
But
they kind of got to know who their dad was.
Do you think that she's told her daughter that was?
I'm sure.
I don't think so.
I
think she just
why does Daddy stay in the attic all the time and we only see him on weekends?
I think she may have told her that it was some form of like robot, but I don't think she would. Because what does that do to your kid? This is a remake of your dead dad that you can only see on the weekends. Because he's
I know. It's a damn show.
That's a hard ending to kind of, and like you said with the open ending stuff. Does she tell her? Does she not? Either way, it's messed up.
I like making up my own ending.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel that she should have treated Steve Rogers a lot better than that. He came all the way back to the past for her, and then she sticks him in an attic. Come on. What? Oh, so my God, what is my number 3? Bandersnatch.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. Like, I was really excited.
So
about
innovative.
This. Oh, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it took some really crazy twists and turns, but but I like the part of like even just choosing like the cereal at the very beginning just to kind of give you a test out. I'm like, all right, and then you wanted to go back and see if like did it change anything if you went and pick the other side of the cereal or something.
Can you only go once?
You can go as many times.
You can go as many times as you want.
Go as many times, but there are several ones just like in the Choose Your Own Adventure that if you choose,
there's fixed points in time.
If you choose that, it'll go black, but then it'll go back to where. To a particular part where you get to choose it again, and then you can choose the other side. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
It's Doctor Who. It's a fixed point in time.
Yeah,
it goes deep too. There's some things where if you choose the same option multiple times,
right,
you get a different.
Really?
Yeah, but you have to choose that option like 5 or 6 times before that starts to play out. Like they definitely went deep with it for people who were willing to like.
Now they're just really trying to turn people into machines. Where they just exactly.
Well, then you get another view on Netflix.
I can't go into work.
Oh, also with the Easter eggs in Shared Universe, that the Bandersnatch like logo where it's the
lion,
right.
That's on the mask of the man who in White Bear.
In White Bear, yes.
Yeah.
Wow,
nice,
that's cool. All right, my number 3 is the episode 15 Million Merits. It was
only needed 12. But
it was the second episode of season 1.
Yep.
And it was a dystopian episode of a future where power is generated by people that go and ride these exercise bikes and play kind of video games and stuff while they're doing it to keep them from getting bored. And they earn merits, which is basically money. And with that money, you can buy real things. You can buy food, you could buy things in the games to improve your avatars and all that. And it's basically a kind of a Shakespearean tragedy, love story, basically, about a man who falls in love with a woman and she can sing and he hears her sing and he wants to get her to try out for this American Idol type show called Hot Shots, which is how you basically get off the bikes. You know, and you live a better life, you get a better house, all that sort of thing.
Well, because you make your own content.
Right.
Because that's all you're doing is people are watching YouTube all day.
Right. So she gets on the...
They're so like making podcasts or something.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Exactly. Doing crazy things with technology that they shouldn't be doing because they should be getting fresh air. So she goes to the main character in the show, Bing. Yeah.
His name's Bing.
Yeah, he falls in love with her. They meet, they talk, and he tries to get her to go to this American Idol show that costs 15 million merits to get on. He gifts it to her. She goes on and she sings, and the judges are impressed, but they have too many singers, too many above average singers, and there's more details to this than I'm saying. This is the overview. But one of the judges who likes Wraith, the head of Wraith TV, which is porn, says, you should be with me in the porn, and there's really not a future for you singing, but on my channel, you do your thing. So and it.
Well, okay. There's 2 things I hate about this episode.
Okay.
The first is I think it's too porny. And Blythe was saying earlier that it's a statement on the oversaturation of porn. It's just on all the time, so nobody cares. To me, it was too much.
Right.
And the other thing is that girl could not sing. She had at best a below average singing voice.
I know, but consider
great actress, by the way. She was on Downton Abbey. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, consider the talent pool.
Yeah.
You know.
So this is my number 2. So I had some things. This is a huge one on social commentary. So the first thing with her singing, and like you said, she gets up there, she sings. She's an okay singer, but there's so many singers out there that they think that she would be better doing this. That's where we're at now. You have all these different shows, America's Got Talent, American Idol, and things, and they're full of singers. My fiance watches one of these shows, and some episodes are cool because you see these people doing different things, but most episodes is just people singing, and I can't watch it over and over and over again. And it's just one of the, and you can see sometimes that people get pulled from these shows to do different things because they've got on the show and people are impressed by them for other reasons. The other thing is the ending of it,
which is a sad little gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Where it shows you that even in a lot of people are probably this way, that even if you have the best intentions in the world, if you're put into a crappy situation and are given an out, you're gonna take it, no matter what your scenario is. So that was a reason why that's my number 2, and it's because it just has a lot of commentary in there.
Okay, my number 2 was the only one of these episodes that literally scared me. It was called Playtest. Guy from the Goon 2 and 22 Jump Street. He's been in a lot of stuff. Absolutely terrifying, and the way that I'm not even going to give spoilers on it because if you haven't seen it, I do not want to spoil this.
I'm surprised you like that one since you hate jump scares.
I hate jump scares, but it was, but the ending to me made it so worth it.
Right?
Yep.
Just I'm like, oh my gosh, and he did it to himself. What? No!
And you were on the floor with your head in your hand, like
kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, me and my wife watched that one. She's like, no, I'm not gonna like this. Was the first one she watched.
Me.
Like, I don't like this show, hon. What are we watching? I'm like, no, trust me, it gets better. It's not all scary.
This is the Halloween special.
These are all just suspense. And then that episode comes on. I'm like, well, I guess I'm a liar.
You are a liar, Dub.
VR, baby.
Fantastic episode, and honestly, if that should be it shouldn't be the first episode you watch, but probably in the first 3 episodes you watch, I think.
So what did you learn about that?
When someone says turn off your phone, turn off your freaking phone.
even more core.
Call your mother.
Call your mother. Yes,
right, exactly.
Nice.
All right, so we know 50 million mirrors with supplies and Silkash.
Okay, so number two. Oh yeah, the entire history of you.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, this was actually the first episode that I actually watched of Black Mirror, and yeah, just I loved the whole technology base of it. Funny enough, I completely didn't remember that Jodie Whittaker was actually his wife, but yeah, it's basically about a couple's relationship that. Basically, they're kind of the lull in the marriage, and there's I think it was like think about getting a divorce, but he would do things and she would do things, but they would keep correcting themselves. It was like, no, I didn't do this, and they'd be like, well, hold on, just a second.
Let's be fair. She was terrible in that episode.
Right.
She was basically a pretty terrible person. I mean, at least as far as in the relationship with her husband.
And then that's why she became Doctor Who.
They got an incredibly bad writer with her. She had to go for good writing on this show to maybe correct. Can we agree on that one?
Then we need to find a happy medium where we get her and some great writing, and then it's great because it's like either horrible person, great writing, great actress, bad writing.
Right.
Now we got to get in the middle.
Get in
We're gonna be in the
between.
middle. Yeah,
Exactly.
Nice.
I hear you. My number 2 is the one right out of the gate, the national anthem.
Oh
my God.
Oh,
So I won't go long on this. I'm just going to lay it out. I kind of knew the premise going in, at least the overarching premise, because who hadn't heard
Everybody
about that,
heard about it.
But I didn't know any of the details.
Except for college.
Not me.
But I didn't know any of the details. So the Prime Minister of England is presented with a scenario where everybody in the show and everybody out of the show is completely horrified. Mm-hmm. And everybody out of the show is going, there is no way. No. And in the show, it's the same thing. Absolutely no way. And why this show is the most brilliantly written show on television is because in the course of the hour, you go from there's absolutely no way that this could happen to it happening. And it is so well written. I mean, just so like, oh my God, I can't believe, and there he is. And here we are in the moment of this horrible reality. And here he's doing it. And it's a commentary on the desensitization that television, basically has done to society.
Oh, absolutely.
And, wow. I mean, that's all I have to say about that episode is wow.
Nice. Outstanding.
You think when they were planning the episodes to come out, they're like, so which one do you want to put as the first episode of this season?
How bold is that to do, let's do this one. And here's the other thing. The horrible act, the way they did that with the audience, they didn't really show very much, to be honest. They kept most of it not shown. And there wasn't like horrible sounds or any of that, but it's like you see the audience reaction in slow motion. All the different reactions. I'm like, oh my God, that made it so horrifying because you see horror and laughing and shock and all the in between. Yeah. It was so well written.
Nice.
That was my number one until we get around to number ones here.
So my number one was Black Museum. Honestly, should be the last episode that you watch, because it has every Easter egg from every episode. It's 3 different stories. The first one was written by Penn Jillette, by the way.
Yes.
The skin one, the pain one. Really interesting one. But these are basically 3 seemingly unrelated stories thrown in together, and at the end, there's glue, and it all completely comes together. If what happened at the ending didn't happen, I want to watch a full season of that. Where he's just going around talking about these different things that happened. That to me was more fascinating than the entire series put together. And I love this series, but that to me is just so fascinating. And again, you watch all the episodes, there's a lot of Easter eggs. So it's definitely worth watching, but don't watch it first.
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
I was trying. Wasn't the main protagonist the female? Wasn't that Suri from Black Panther?
She was in Black Panther.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
I'm trying to find.
I think it is.
Yes, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
Nice.
I put in cast.
So are the rest of us the same number one?
No, my number one I don't think is the same as you guys.
Okay, so I've got my number one.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nosedive?
No.
Nope. All right, my number one is Nosedive.
Nice.
Just because that one is
you hated
just
the end?
so just so like where we're headed. If you look around, that's where we're going, and it's not too far off to think like that could be a future that we could live in.
You hated the end?
I really did.
Really?
I love the end because they smiled at that very before it faded out. They smiled. They realized they were free.
Yeah,
right.
I get it. I don't know. Something about it just didn't sit right, and that was just me. I mean, it just didn't hit me. Yeah. Right. It's just like.
I thought you would have been more kind of. I didn't like the wedding.
The wedding was
weird.
Much.
She kind of went off the rails a little bit. And I'm like, okay. I was waiting for her to like say something to me. I wanted her to kind of like start throwing stuff out on her friend because she had been screwing her over for all these years.
She kind of did,
and then
but not really.
But it never. Well, and true. Like I guess that would be anybody. Like you know, when somebody gets that popular, and then somebody else comes up and says, "Well, they did all this in school, and it never really affects."
Think
them
about
per
this
se.
though. Here's what I would say. That was the first time that she was considering what the truck driver had said to her about,
and she was drunk,
right?
too,
And she was drunk. That was the escape hatch, exactly.
Right.
And how, how she was like, this was the two sides of her in complete conflict. So I can see why she started to say like the mean things, but then went back to the "I love you" and all that stuff too.
Right.
That was the best acting performance I've ever seen her do. Was in that wedding
Maybe
scene.
I have to go see it again. I did find it funny because remember, she like her score kept going down, and then when the truck driver came in, she had a 1.8, and she was like, "No, that's fine." Like she still had that mentality of like, no, I might be a 3, but no, I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to get in with a 1.8. Yeah. Oh, is it me now? Mm-hmm. Fine. All right. My number one, the best episode of the series, White Bear.
White Bear.
Love White Bear.
That's both of your guys's?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Oh, just about you see the lady. She's like she's in a chair with the symbol with the TV and some noise, and then she doesn't have any memory. She doesn't know what's going on. She thinks that she takes a picture of the girl, thinking that it's her daughter, and then everybody just starts taking out their phones and just starts watching, just videotaping her, and she's getting chased, and you find out that she was actually like like we said in the game show, like she's an accomplice to a murder, that because she was videotaping her boyfriend doing it. And what just really offset me at the end was the credits, because then you see it's a theme park, a Justice theme park,
right?
And they're coaxing. I'm like, all right, like this time she threw a brick at somebody this time, so you got to keep your distance from her, all right? And just have fun. Just enjoy yourself. And I'm like, that is horrific.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first episode where they really hit the Twilight Zone thing.
Oh, it's crazy, too.
Gotcha.
The part that gets one of the parts that got me the most was she believed that was her daughter until the part where they revealed to her that she helped kill that little girl.
Right.
So in her mind, she thinks it's her daughter. Like, she truly believes it's her daughter, and then finds out that she murdered her.
And there was one of the ones where you just crumble into a pile of despair
like,
because you're rooting for her until you see it. All right, so my number one, I'm not going to spoil anything about this. I'm not going to talk about it, because I think that you should watch Black Mirror if you want to watch it. Watch about half a dozen episodes, then watch the one that to me is a million miles above any episode that I saw of the show, and that's San Junipero. It's basically a love story, and I'm not going to say much more than that. It's a love story.
You don't know what's going on for a long time.
It's a love story about two people, and one of the only thing I will say in this show is, if you're feeling the despair that this show can cause you, this episode you will feel so much better when it's done.
And I'll fall in the same suit. Like, I won't give anything away. This is Katie's favorite as well, and it was on my list. But since you had it at number one, it definitely needs to be way up there as well too. And I kept guessing, like, because she'd already seen it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to see if I can try to figure this out. And kept saying stuff, and saying stuff, and then finally she's like, yes, but wrong train. I'm like,
right.
Okay, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just shut up and just watch it. I'm like,
I can't. This is the one I don't want to spoil, because it is really good. Like I said, the show has episodes of Black Mirror, and then it has that one, as far as I'm concerned.
Nice. Okay, that's a show, kids. Check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Yeah. Go to the Twitter at iHeartGeekShow. Go to the Facebook. Go to the YouTube.
Instagram.
Go to the Instagram. Go to the smoke signals.
Go to the cloud.
Go to the cloud. Do what you got to do. Come find us.
Go to the sea.
Come and hang out with us.
Talk to us. We'll talk to you back. We're kind of lonely. Talk to us, please. Okay. And until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Blythe.
I'm feeling good.
I'm a pile of wasted despair and anguish.
And the perfect score gets to say it.
Keep on geeking on.
Oh, man. Is the technology going to come through on this one?
Why got to be a Black Mirror?
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.